Hello, my name is Tony Taylor. I can be found at tony.taylor@yahoo.com. I am here in the Iowa Senate chambers on the Iowa floor here. And what we find is that recently there was a bill that was stopped from being processed here. It was an equal parenting bill. Now, what happened is that some people had submitted some legislation to allow for equal rights for both parents in divorce, both fit parents, fathers and mothers. And the bill had passed the Judiciary Committee and the subcommittee, and then Senator Grandstall, the president of the Senate here, said that he would bring it to the floor for a vote. He lied. He didn't bring it to the floor for a vote. So what happened was he single-handedly blocked this bill from being voted on. We could have had an up or down vote on it to see who was going to support equal rights for both parents. Didn't happen. So what needs to happen is the people in the state need to understand that there's a battle. The battle is based on money. What happens is there's a lot of federal subsidies that are flowing into these states by producing non-custodial parents, which are primarily men. There's a fair number of female non-custodial parents, but primarily men. And so what happens is the bureaucrats don't want to stop this gravy train of federal subsidies that are coming in under Title 4D in the U.S. Code 42, which is a federal issue. So Iowa, being a first-in-the-nation status state, has a lot of politicians that come through. So what I do and what others do is they challenge them with questions. And they say, you are a president, or you're seeking to become president of this country. You're coming to Iowa to do your stomp speech. And then we ask, you know, you're going to be in charge of the federal government. Well, there's a federal law, U.S. Code 42, Title 4D. And in that U.S. law, it provides for subsidies for the collection of child support. So therefore, two things will happen. Number one, the judges want to create a non-custodial parent, which they 97% of the time they vote against the men and make the men non-custodial parents. And then number two, they want to give them exorbitant amounts of child support because they get subsidies based on this U.S. Code 42, which is a federal code. And so the president, being in charge of the federal government, has auspices over this code. It is in their realm. So when you challenge these politicians and say you're going to be dealing with the president, you're going to be president of the United States of America, you're at the federal level, you'll be working with these federal laws such as Chapter 42, Title 4D. These laws are adversely affecting families in America, and so what happens is that we want you to address these issues, and unfortunately, what happens is a lot of times they simply don't get addressed. But what we need to do is we need to simply ask them. The primary response is that it's a state issue. It's not a state issue. I just said it was a federal law, U.S. Code 42. It is a president running the federal government, and he has auspices over it. What it is he doesn't want to deal with it. And so it adversely affects you, with a 50% divorce rate, and with people who are not married, they're living together, have children, they have even a higher separation rate. And so you have custody battles that there's financial incentives to taking the children from the primarily the dads and ladening them with these tremendous child support payments for which the counties get federal subsidies based on this federal law. So a lot of the politicians are simply oblivious to this law willfully, and they don't want to address it. But yet at the same time, Obama in his speech says he's very concerned about the alleged female pay gap, which is simply nonsense. But even if it was for real, the point is it's federal level. Okay, so what you're saying is that females' rights in the employment arena are a federal issue, but fathers' rights are not a federal issue. That's ridiculous. So the bottom line is these issues need to be addressed, and we need to deal with these issues on the federal level, because what happens is there are tremendous incentives for the state here to create non-custodial parents.